Love your background.
Thank,
Yes,
It's amazing.
thank
beautiful.
you. But it's nice to talk to you guys. Brittany, I had actually talked to you for the consultant quite
Oh
a
my
while ago.
God. Yes.
So,
Oh my gosh. That was like 2 years ago, almost
yeah,
3 years ago
it
now.
was quite a
Hello.
bit
Good to
ago.
see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see all of you. But thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. Enjoyed the film. So to start off, why don't you all just talk about sort of how you got involved in it and why you wanted to be a part of it? Whoever wants to go first.
I first of all, I needed rent money. Other than that,
That's
no,
fair.
no. Honestly, and I've said this so many times before, but it's the best script I've read in over a decade, easily. I've never. It's something I wanted to say in the interview before this. I've never seen a film like this ever. There's found footage films, but I've never seen a found footage film from the perspective of actual documentary before. And especially with people that made a living doing that in real life. And absolutely brilliant, brilliant. Our DP Camilo is just a genius. Pedro is a genius. Brittany is a fucking genius. Um, and then of course, just reading the script, you get to whatever twists and turns may be in there. And to piggyback off what Brittany said, like you have to reread it because you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was just so excited to get to play with these guys. I had a blast.
Okay, what about you two?
Britt, why don't you go?
Okay. I'll make it quick, but I read the script. I was on a job. I was on the job. Sometimes I think about dying, and so I had some time on my hands and I got the script in my email. And I was reading it in a corner of like the green room somewhere, and I was like, "What?" When I got to the ending, I emailed my team.
Yeah,
I
you
said,
had to kind of go back, right? I
I
had to
kept I was
rewind it.
like,
I'm
"Did
like,
I
what
read
just
it?
happened?
Did I read it wrong?" I was like, "Am I like too distracted? Like, what's going on?" And I called my team. I let them know what the ending was. And then they're like, yeah, reread it. And I reread it. And I was like, I would love to meet Pedro. And we talked, and he said, I see the unseen. I watched his work. I loved his heart. And I was like, I want to work with this amazing human. That was,
Amazing.
yeah.
Amen.
Oh, well, right back at the two of you was it's really, by the way, James, this was one of the most special experiences
Yes.
in my career, my life. It was really special how we've all really bonded and came together. And I think for me, when I first read the script by the brilliant genius Mallory Westfall, who developed with Stephen Klein and Aaron Coben, producers. And when I read a draft, I was also had a similar reaction. I was like, wait, what? You know, reread it. I devoured the script and I reread it. And one of the things that really, and I was trepidatious. I didn't know if I love genre. I've been a genre fan since I was a child. But you know, I was very deep in the doc world, and I was a little intimidated by the script and the story. But as I started talking to Mallory and to Aaron and to Stephen, I saw an opportunity to actually continue exploring a lot of the themes and the stories that I do in the documentary world with the documentary films that I've made, but in a way hypercharged that
Mhm.
makes us look at our own world and our own society um, through a supercharged lens. And I think for me, I was so excited to do that. I couldn't wait, and that was sort of our guiding star. So I worked with Mallory for many years crafting the script and really trying to, as Britt so beautifully put it, kind of put that humanity that we've so lost and ignored right back into the center of the frame. And that with with all sorts of, you know, characters and storylines, you know, especially with the perspective we're seeing the film is really seeing the life through the eyes of Danny. You know, so which EJ just blew us away with all the beauty and the humanity that and the beauty that Danny is seeing and that we're not seeing, right? And really kind of bringing that to the front. And the layers that Emily of trauma and hurt and this journey of recognition. I think that's for for me was just so. wonderful, and I wanted to absorb. I wanted to approach it as a real doc as well, not only just as a fiction film. So I did all the prep work that that you do for a fiction film, but I also did it as a documentary. I went and I did research and I met with people, met with real organizations that really translated into the things that you actually see in the film. Like the clinic, the Hooper Clinic that you see, that's actually the community of hope of Mesilla Valley. They they provide very similar services to the folks there that are um, vulnerable, that are experiencing homelessness. The encampment, that's a real encampment. That's Camp Hope, and those people that we're so privileged to meet were the real residents there. And the questions that you're hearing, the questions that you're hearing, the answers that you're hearing are the real answer. So we had this motto on set, it's the real deal, because this is not some fictional world. This is very much our world today. So anyway, sorry, long-winded
No,
there.
no, no, that's okay.
Great.
What did you, for the two of you, from an acting standpoint, what did you find the most challenging part of this?
Ooh, that's a good question. The most challenging part of making the film. I mean, for me, I had to learn a bit of a new language because there is a dance that happens between the cinematographer Camilo and myself as Danny, who is the cinematographer
Yeah.
of the documentary. Camilo's the cinematographer of the film. Uh, us finding a way to meld those two characters together to become their its own character. Like Camilo and I are Danny together. Like we are Danny, and I don't think I've ever had a partnership like that in any film I've ever done before.
All right. What about you, Brittany?
There was two scenes that were really challenging for me. I don't know if I hope I'm not giving it away, but there's this where Emily pushes people into the wrong direction. It's
Mm,
not even necessarily the wrong direction, but a
good way to
direction
say it.
that's not positive for Danny. There's two
Right.
scenes in particular, or two scenes that go into each other. I think that was the most challenging for me. Um, and then maybe when Emily is chasing down people, we have to get the scenes with Red.
Mm,
That the choreography of that was a little challenging. Um, so those are my top three that are coming to mind that were just um I for me felt clunky inside, but were smooth. I mean, that's
Yeah, I was gonna say they look good, they worked
yeah,
good.
no. But at first I would, those are honestly, those were the most challenging scenes were with Red, and then when trying to justify um putting Danny in positions that he shouldn't be in, that was really hard for me. That's not intuitively where Brittany's at times. So
come on, it's beautiful.
yeah, that was a little challenging.
If I could add one small thing, Pedro, you're always mentioning that we're addressing those that are unseen. Danny is one of those people, but something I've never said out loud was especially when you're dealing with real people in Community of Hope or at Camp Hope, um, that are so willing to be seen. As an actor, I think it sort of puts not pressure, but it really puts an impetus on be willing to be seen, right? Like that's not an easy thing. People can want to see you, you can want them to see you, but it doesn't mean you're allowing them to. And I do think that Danny has gotten to a place in his life where he's like, I am lovingly and yet unapologetically all of me.
I don't know. Pedro, what I guess I mean obviously you're doing it as a documentary, but it's not. So what kind of challenges, I guess, making it genre rather than documentary did you come across or something maybe that was different that yeah, you weren't expecting?
Well, I think I mean, yes, obviously, we had to tell the story that was so brilliantly written by Mallory, and I think for me, I guess the biggest challenge for me was kind of creating that the rise in tension, and that leads to hopefully the very twisty ending that and for me it was I was always very aware of how to keep it as grounded as possible, as tethered to the reality, and increasing the tensions to extraordinary heights, but never losing the groundedness of real life. And so that with the film is really can be a mirror to us. So for me, it was walking that line, and I think that final sequence, the final scene, which I'm not going to say very much about,
Yeah, don't.
um, is was sort of the climax of that challenge. It was really how do we bring that together? And I think I really leaned on my collaborators from Brittany and E.J. and Krisha, the extraordinary Krisha Fairchild, who just brought so much to the character Anna and so many layers. And Camo, and I also really need to shout out our editors, Fernando Stutz and Isadora Boscarielli, who I worked with in Brazil, to really find that line, to walk that line of groundedness and also leaning into the genre and the tension of it. And so I think that was uh, for me the biggest challenge, especially that last sequence.
Mm.
And one of the trick of the just a quick peek underneath the hood that I do have to also give a shout out to a composer, even though you may not hear score in the film. We recorded our amazing sound mixer at Rael in Las Cruces. We recorded real ambiances all over the place, from off the freeway to inside the basement to the clinic to all these. And we took those ambiances, real world sounds, and Gil manipulated them in a very subtle way, but that the tone, like if you just sit in your room and you hear everything has a different tone, right? A different air.
Mhm.
And but if you start changing the tonality of it, things become a little bit off, and that's kind of not right, and it puts you on that feeling of unease. And so I think part of it was creating that, like taking a real world um, tonality and manipulating it and supercharging it in a way. And in a way, I think that I feel that way about genre films in general, right?
Wow.
It is that looking at our world, but through a kind of a supercharged lens. And that was sort of, so I leaned in onto genius collaborators. That's what I did.
All right, great. Well, we're out of time, but thank you so much, all three of you. I appreciate it. Like I said, I enjoyed the film. Definitely was surprised, and like I said, had to rewind it. Like to be like, what? No, that was really good. But I enjoyed it. So thank you so much, all of you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks.